Welcome back to episode 83. Thank you very much for joining me. How are you? I hope that you are well and have been experimenting this week with some of the manifestation techniques that I was talking about last week to strengthen your belief in your creative power. If you have, please come and share them with me and share any of your own that you already have that I haven't heard of, because I would love to hear about them. And as always, thank you so much for your reviews. Just a few weeks ago, when I first asked you to leave me a review, I had 90, and as I record this, a week early, I might say. How bizarre, who is she? I've currently got 99 reviews, so another 9, which is amazing progress, and I'm very, very grateful for every single one. Last week, I heard a quote on another podcast that I listened to, and that one is by Rob Dial, one of my favourites. And this quote was from Mark Zuckerberg, who is, of course, the wildly successful owner of Facebook and the Metaverse, which I think now owns Instagram and a couple of others. And it was a quote that said, "If you don't risk anything, you risk everything." And I loved it, and it reminded me of one of my favourite poems, and that poem has been hung up on my parents' house for as long as I can remember. And to start off this pod, I would like to share it with you. I have a feeling I might have shared this with you before, but I'm going to share it again because it's well worth listening to. So this poem is called To Risk, or sometimes it's called To Risk Nothing. Not a particularly creative title, but we'll allow it because it's amazing. And it goes like this. To laugh is to risk appearing a fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. To reach out to another is to risk involvement. To expose feelings is to risk exposing your true self. To place your ideas and dreams before a crowd is to risk their loss. To love is to risk not being loved in return. To live is to risk dying. To hope is to risk despair. To try is to risk failure. But risks must be taken, because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, is nothing. He may avoid suffering and sorrow, but he cannot learn, feel, change, grow, or live. Chained by his servitude, he is a slave who has forfeited all freedom. Only a person who risks is free. The pessimist complains about the wind, the optimist expects it to change, and the realist adjusts the sails. So that poem has been subconsciously sinking into my mind for the past 30 years, I'd say, every time I've had a wee in the downstairs bog where it's hung up on the wall. And it got me thinking about how this would make a great podcast episode, inspired by the one that I listened to last week. It's an important message that has completely changed the way that I think about things, and so I want to share it with you too, so it can do the same for you. We make decisions every single day, hundreds of times. So there might be decisions like, shall I get up now or shall I press the snooze button? Shall I park in this space at the supermarket or shall I park in that one? Shall I order a pineapple pizza from the takeaway for tea or shall I cook tonight? Shall I ring my friend or not? And these are the day-to-day decisions which all in a small way impact the trajectory of our life. And then sometimes we're faced with even more significant decisions that will have a more significant impact. So there could be questions like, should I ask that person to go out on a date or not? Should I go to uni or should I take a year out and travel the world? Should I marry this person or should I end this relationship? Which was an unintentional example, but hashtag relatable. Should I go for that promotion or stay in my current role? Should I start my own business or should I stay in employment? Should I have a baby or should I not? And these are the questions that are going to set us on a different path. They are the fork in the road questions. Now, I would like to say here that we should all over our fucking selves all the time. And firstly, the only thing that I believe that you should do is to change the types of questions that you're asking and reword them from should I to do I want to. So when we ask a question that starts with should, we are going to make a decision based on our fears. And when we ask a question that starts with do I want to, then we're much more likely to make a decision from our desire, and that's a much more empowering place to make them from. So now that we've got the wording right, let's think about the difference between making decisions from fear versus making decisions from a place of power. We are all powerful creators. You might look at someone who's successful And that could be whatever your definition of success is. So it might be that somebody's an entrepreneur. It might be a person who's in a happy relationship. It could be a mum who appears to be winning at the parenting game. A person who has what you perceive to be the perfect physique. It could be a person who travels all over the world. Whatever success looks like to you, success is not just how much money you've got. It's very much about your fulfillment and your happiness and what you've set out to achieve. And you might look at that person and think that they are somehow different to you, as if they've been bestowed with this life and you've just been given one that's below par, and that is just the way it is. But that's not true. That is not true. I want you to hear me when I say that. That is not true. There is no difference. So they might have slightly different circumstances, which might make things a bit easier possibly. But ultimately, the difference between you and them is that they have just learned how to make their decisions from power, from a place of power, not from a place of fear, and that's it. Every time they ask themselves a question about what they want, they make decisions rooted in power and that are not overshadowed by the fears. And you can do that as well. So I'm going to use one of those questions that I mentioned earlier as an example, and I'm going to use one that feels relevant to me right now. So the example of the should question was, should I start my own business or should I stay in employment? So straight away, when I asked myself that question, my subconscious, which is basically the risk assessment software that's been installed on the computer that is my mind, who is always doing its very finest work to keep me safe, kicks in and it says the following things. And I'm actually going to share with you the direct quotes that I've written down in my journal from my own thoughts, because I like to keep it real and I like to keep it relatable. So when I asked myself that question, should I start my own business or should I stay in employment? Here is what come out. What if I can't pay my bills? What if my mum and dad have to bail me out and I put extra pressure on them? What if I let them down when they've done so much to help me and encourage me? What if it only lasts 2 minutes and then I have to go and ask for my job back? How embarrassing. What will people think? What if I am not capable of manifesting, even though I'm teaching manifestation to others? Who will want to pay for my services when I don't even have everything that I want yet? What if I can't be consistent because I know that I'm flaky? What if my ADHD is too bad and I'm just too much of a procrastinator to manage running a business? What if people reject me? What if people reject my services? Who the fuck are you to run a mindset and manifestation business when you can barely keep yourself alive on some days? So they are the things that come up for me amongst other things, but they were the main things. So as you can see, it's really very eager to keep me exactly where I am, in my comfort zone where there is no room for growth. Now, I want to share how those thoughts change when I change the wording of that same question to, do I want to start my own business or do I want to stay in employment? And then these are the thoughts that follow that question. Absolutely fucking yes, I want to start my own business. Is the Pope Catholic? Does a bear shit in the woods? Of course I do, no doubt about it. This is my purpose and it can finally happen after years and years of feeling out of alignment. This is why nothing else has worked out for me in my career. Imagine the freedom that I would have to work in a way that's flexible and gives me freedom to live how I choose. I am absolutely willing to put in the work because the reward of making an impact on people really lights me up. You know so much about this and it's your calling to share it with others so that they can feel empowered as well. Look at what you've already built and what you have already overcome whilst also still working in a job that's not really for you. Imagine how far you could go if your full focus was on your business of helping people. I could be so successful. I don't know how exactly I would get there, but I know that I can. This is so exciting. Go and get your laptop right fucking now and let's get started immediately. So they're the types of thoughts that I had following that question when I just simply changed it from should I to do I want to. And this goes on and on because I am just asking myself what I want. I'm taking away the pressure of that word should. And let me tell you, I am so fucking excited just right now as I'm recording this, just thinking about it and saying those words and thinking those thoughts. So I am now ready to make a decision from my power, from that end vision, not from a place of fear. And you can also do this too. So I want you to think about an opportunity that you've had, let's say in the last 5 years, a fairly recent one. That could have been the opportunity to change career or enter or leave a relationship, a change of home, a change of your lifestyle and your health. It could be a complete change of location, like potentially moving to a different country, an opportunity to travel somewhere new. And then ask yourself, did I make my decision that I made from power or from fear? And you'll know the answer immediately because of your current results in that area. If you made a decision that was based in fear, you will be in exactly the same position or minimally further on now. If you made it from power, that area of your life is likely to have changed in dramatic and fantastic ways. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it always worked out exactly as you thought, but the results from making that decision from power have taught you a valuable lesson, have allowed you to grow, or have ended you up in a new position where you are better off in every possible way. And I'm not saying that it has been easy or that it will be easy, but if you are rooted in your end vision and you're making decisions from a place of power, from that vision, rather than just thinking about it and wishing and waiting and comparing yourself to people who've already got what you want, you can become one of those people that you once just looked at and thought, wow, like how amazing, I wish that could be me. Maybe you even felt a little bit jealous of them, and that's totally normal as well. So just like you don't need to know everything about every turning and every road closure and every roundabout and every little bit of traffic on a journey, let's say from if I was going from here to Scotland or like an equivalent distance wherever you are in the world, all you need to do is put your postcode in, be clear where you're going in your sat-nav and follow that next bit of guidance that it gives you, and you will get there. You just need to decide on your clear destination of where you want to be in your life in whatever area it is that you're making a decision in, not where you think you should go because of everybody else's influence around you, and follow that inner guidance system just like you would follow a sat-nav and trust that you are going to get there, and you don't need to know the exact how of that's going to happen because that is literally none of your business. So I'd like you to think again about that decision that you made in the last 5 years. And just for a second, I want you to visualise if you made that decision from a place of power instead of fear, where would you be right now? What potential life would you be living right now if you had decided to start that relationship, to leave that relationship, to become healthier, to change your career, to change where you live, to go travelling? What sorts of things come to your imagination if you had made that decision from a place of power? So let's say that you were offered an opportunity to go and work abroad for a year and you decided not to because you thought, oh, but what about this and what about that? Think about what you might have gained from that experience. And I'm not doing this to make you feel depressed about your regrets or whatever. I'm just pointing out that you could have potentially had massive growth in that area if you had made a decision based in power. And maybe you did. I hope that you did. That would be amazing. But for the vast majority of us, and I include myself in that, we have been making a lot of our decisions based on fear and the judgment of the people around us and the potential things that could go wrong. And I shared a quote on my Instagram a week or so ago that was from my mentor, Lauren, and I really loved it. And that quote was, success becomes conditional when you react to your circumstances. And what I mean by circumstances is what you can see with your senses in your 3D reality at the minute. And that might include the imagined responses from people or real responses from the people that you love and care about who are talking in your ear. So if you are reacting all the time to what you can see in your current reality, you are going to stay in that reality because you're reacting to it, you're giving it your energy, you're putting your thoughts dominantly on what you can see and feel around you at the minute. So what I've been doing recently, well, I've been doing this for a long time, but really intentionally recently, I have not been living in my 3D reality. So right now, if I look around me, I am in a small spare bedroom with a 30 quid desk, and the cat, I think she might be having a shit actually. She's just gone in a litter tray. So it's not ideal. But my house is a little bit of a mess. I am earning less than I would like to be earning from the job that I'm in. I am still attached to that job in the 3D. But I have stopped living in that place now. I'm doing everything that I can to embody this future version of myself so that when I make decisions from here on out, I'm making them out of a place of power, because when I'm in my vision, I feel powerful, I feel empowered. So which area of your life are you not happy with? And then what questions are you wondering about? Think about those things and ask yourself, what decision would you make if you had already achieved everything that you wanted? Because there is absolutely no reason whatsoever that you can't achieve that goal, that manifestation, that circumstance that you want to be in, that vision that you have in your imagination. If you were in that right now, would you be making the same choices? Because if the answer is no, that means that you're reacting to your 3D circumstances right now. So you're reacting to the fact that there's not enough money in your bank account, or you're reacting to the fact that your house isn't big enough, or that your relationship isn't happy. So you're staying exactly where you were. And what you've got to remember is everything that you see now in your 3D is just a time-lagged result of the thoughts that you've been dominantly thinking in the past. And you don't have to think those same thoughts. You can change the way that you think and the way that you make decisions starting right now. And yeah, there will be a period of time where things stay the same. There will be a period of time where those thoughts have to play out, because that is just how it works. We live in this human world, and that is how things manifest. But do you want to waste any more time thinking from that place? Because whatever you're thinking now is creating your tomorrow, your next week, your next month, your next year, your next decade. And if you're living dominantly feeling fearful about what could go wrong because you are reacting to what's going on around you at the minute, then you're going to stay exactly where you are. And for me, that is a terrifying thought. Not because I don't love my life as it is. I do love my life as it is. But I know that if I got to the end of my life and I was still in exactly the same position as I am right now, I would feel regret, and I don't want to feel regret. So I'm not living in that place anymore, and I don't want you to either. So from here on out, from this week, from this day, I challenge you, before every decision that you make, even the small ones like, shall I get out of bed now or shall I press the snooze button? Because although we don't think of those as significant, tiny little decisions that we make every day do make an incredible impact. If you snooze your alarm every day, you are losing time that you could be using to work on your dreams, to even just work on your self-love, to give yourself time and space to feel connected. So including those small decisions, but certainly on those significant ones, those fork in the road decisions, the ones that are going to definitely affect the direction, the trajectory of your life, I want you to ask yourself the question, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? And release the should, because the should is a quick fire way to trigger that risk assessment software that's in us all, that is there to keep us safe. And ask yourself, am I making this decision from a place of power or from a place of fear? And instead of thinking about all the things that could go wrong, think, would I even be given this idea if it wasn't for me? And the answer is no. If you've got an idea in your mind, that's coming from your imagination and you can see that vision, that has been given to you for a purpose. It's for your creative powers to create the life that you desire. So make your decision from a place of empowerment, from that end vision, rooted in the knowing that you are absolutely capable and there is no reason why you can't have exactly what you want. If you can see other people around you getting exactly what they want, why do you think you're different? You're not. You're absolutely not. And you can do anything you choose to do as long as you stay in that place of power. So I hope that you found this episode useful. If you have, I would love you to leave me a review and share your thoughts on it in the Facebook group. And I will see you in there. I hope you have an incredible week. See you later.